Going to take a quick break, reassemble the podcast, and we're going to pop back up and answer questions from the community again like we did last night. So quick bathroom break for everybody. We'll be back on in about, let's say, 5 minutes. All right, see you guys then.
Oh, I'll hang tight.
All right. Well, I'm going to do one of these intro screens here, and I'm going to mute my mic, and
Cool.
you can hang out, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right, guys. So Lake and I are still here. We are more than happy. Oh no, we now get the buzz. Do you guys hear it?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's terrible. Too bad. Yeah, throw us some questions, and we'll do our best to answer. We have to do a whole bunch of research to do these every week, so I like to think we're pretty well educated on the game.
So,
Shave
Valor,
your head
first
for
of all,
Crowfall donations.
how'd you feel about that? They were very open to letting us know. First of all, I was very happy about the combat system answers. They got a lot of stuff out there. They didn't give us exactly all the specifics, but they gave us a lot of input on some of maybe their design mechanics and things that they personally like in other games. And it reassured me a little bit about this game's going to be fluid. I have a very good feeling about this. I'm always cautiously optimistic, but I feel like they gave me good answers as far as the PvP mechanics go, which is a big part of this game in general.
I thought they did a fantastic job. One of the big things that we talked about before, and hopefully Jason can take himself off mute so we can get rid of that buzz. One of the big things we talked about before the cast was, we've seen it on other interviews, we've seen it on the AMA. A lot of, well, guys, we just don't know. We don't know that yet. We're still talking about it. It's still internal. And I think they did a fantastic job of really opening up and saying, giving us, if it is still internal, they're giving us, what it is that they're working on. What are the conversations they're having? And so, definitely pleased to see them being that open.
Did you tweet us out at all? I'm looking here. Did you tweet us?
I tweeted us out.
Yeah,
okay.
we got some Twitter love.
Just checking. Okay.
Yeah, but folks, make sure that you subscribe to the channel here. Follow us on Twitter. You can subscribe to the thread on the forums. We put it out as much as we can, help people know what we're doing.
Yeah, what I'll do is here, we'll add some text onto the screen.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Grant wants to know, what do we find exciting about Crowfall? If we haven't said it before, I mean, what haven't we said before? But Lake, after this talk, I mean, what do they have you excited for?
So I really like the idea of having different campaigns, different rule sets. Everything's going to be fresh, and that's one of the things in MMOs currently is they didn't have a way of making the game fresh. So there's going to be that kind of starting over feel. However, you're going to have your persistence. Your character is going to be persistent. The leveling that you've done on that character, and they're not. Let me clear that up. They're not going to have specific levels. They're going to have more of a horizontal progression where you build your skills up to a certain point. So I really feel like they've solved a lot of the problems that the current MMO genre has, is that it gets stale, it gets boring a little bit, and it's going to bring a fresh vibe to it. My only concern is that with all the campaigns, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, are these campaigns, are people going to just leave when the campaign gets a little tough? And there's a lot of different aspects when it comes to that, and those were my concerns. But overall, it feels like the combat is going to be what I was looking for, and the campaigns and the restart and the tournaments. They haven't given us a lot of information on the tournaments just yet, but I'm excited to hear more about it.
All right, I just threw up all of our individual Twitters on there. So if anybody's interested in following us, we're usually retweeting, putting out all the new information throughout the day for all the stuff. You also get all the show tweets. If you're not following Crowns and Crows, do that now. Hit the little heart down there, and then if you are on Hitbox, if this is actually being pretty successful, we've got a pretty good viewing over there too. Click on follow, and if we get enough people tweeting out at us to stream on Hitbox, we'll be doing this every single week. We'll do dual streams. If you guys want it, we'll do it. So let us know on Twitter. If you watch us on Hitbox, we'll rock it out for the days to come too. I wasn't really watching all the streams. Do we have any good questions coming in? I know you hit up a couple of them already. Do you have any more?
So there was ones that people were interested about how many weapon sets you can have, and I kind of covered that.
One, yeah.
Yeah, we covered it with our weapon sets, and are you going to be able to weapon swap? And they weren't opposed to it, but it kind of has to be in that genre. Like, I can't be a mage with a huge shield and blocking everything all of a sudden. So that was a really good question. It was something that I had a version down, but it was asked in, I think, Hitbox. So I'm glad we cleared that one up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think we're golden on that one. Well, I got to find which chat all my open and.
Yeah. So what I was most excited for after hearing all of that, I think that them having some sort of in-game system to identify a guild's influence, or maybe an alliance or whatever it might be, having that kind of influence, I think that's fantastic. That has me excited. I wonder if me having Hitbox open is what's slowing things down.
I was screwing up. Well, I had sound on that. I couldn't find the tab with Hitbox in it because I'm not used to what their icon is. So I'm like, where the hell is that sound coming from?
All right, here we go. We got a question. Did they talk about if there will be a subscription? And they've released that almost instantly with their Kickstarter. Yeah, there's not going to be a sub. There's going to be a VIP status, which gives you some perks. It's nice to haves, but it's not a necessity. When you buy the game, you buy the game. So that's the only cost that it really is going to be, is that $50. I think they were talking about retail around $50.
Standard box price.
But if you get on the Kickstarter now, it's what, $34 for the game.
Save some cash, show some support.
Save some money, and you can get some cool caravans and all that kind of cool stuff that's coming down the line.
VIP, that's a good question. VIP is you're effectively a monthly subscription. You'll be able to pay that, I believe, with in-game currency, which will be whatever it is. But that is when you are paying the $10-15 a month. That's what you're going to be. That makes you VIP. Then it comes with a lot of other benefits.
Yeah, what game that did something similar to that?
Terra's, I mean, they're copying a lot. Not copying, but they have a lot of concepts. Terra had that VIP subscription-based stuff.
There was another game that recently just went to that, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Arcade has that VIP or patron status, right? Isn't that what it's called, Valor?
Yeah, patron status, and they allowed you to regenerate your ability to do things like farming. That they had a skill. It was like a mana pool for farming, mining, any sort of crafting related type, or economic things. So
real quick, we just talked about Kickstarters and via the subscription. So Valor, what are the things that are going to change after the Kickstarter? So you could still support the game after the Kickstarter, but what is going to be the big thing that changes? I think it's going to be the VIP status per package, right? After the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I mean, the big things are going to be, they want people to still, contribute, and so there is still a lot that you're going to get, but a lot of the things that you don't get is going to be some of the things that you can really put up in your Eternal Kingdom or walk around with and say, hey, I was a Kickstarter backer. I've got these extra parcels of land that are tax-free. I've got this statue. I've got these things, and it's really going to be a legacy thing. If this game is able to sustain itself and last as long as we are all hoping it will, I mean, we could be looking at 3, 4, 5 years down the road after a couple renditions that, kind of like with Guild Wars, people say, yeah, look at those guys with those gold capes. They won Season 1. This person they were in first. They have these things that just nobody else has anymore.
And that's actually a good point, right? So they talked about tournament campaigns, just strictly tournament campaigns, but they haven't given us any details. But that's one of the cool things about it, is we don't know anything, so it could kind of be shaped to what we want. And what I personally want to see out of those tournament campaigns is a place where people can be recognized. Either there's a web-based leaderboard, or there's the cape like you talked about, where you have the gold trim and it's permanent the entire time you play. Like, that kind of stuff is something that is recognized. It's a cosmetic, and people love cosmetics to begin with, but it's a cosmetic for the PvP player, and I really enjoy stuff like that.
People want to know what sort of benefits come along with being our sugar bear, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if somebody wanted to give us enough money to make it worth our time to bring them on. What do you guys think?
Wait, what was that? Sorry. Something about Sugar Bear, and I had like mixed emotions. What?
They're joking around. Some of the people, or maybe not joking around,
Where's
wanted to
that? I
know
missed that one.
what did they have to do to get on the show, and I said, money, lots of it.
Sure.
So,
What do they want to do on the show?
What benefits do they get?
And a dance, right? So it's like
Dance, yeah, there you go.
you pay like $20 and then you have to dance.
Yeah. We actually do have a couple good questions here. The first one is, how do you guys feel about siege equipment and its importance?
Absolutely, it's very important. You need
Right.
it. And
So
I think that the siege equipment has to be. I think it should be moved like caravans. I think because it's kind of silly when you run up, charge up on your horses, click on a button, and you drop your catapult and you start sieging. I think it needs to be more
Right.
like you gotta move it with something. Oh,
well,
there he is.
they also talked about specifically their whole concept of the physics-based combat and the game being physics. So that brings up a good point. Like, you can't even move that catapult with one person, maybe. You may need a few people. So I think that's
Right.
a cool concept that they plan on bringing something like siege mechanics into the game. I know they were talking about it, and it's on the table. They haven't said anything really about siege mechanics
The
per
only
se.
siege mechanics that we do know is that there's going to be like times of protection. It's going to be like Shadowbane, like where you
Bloodstone.
yeah, I mean, well, not just Bloodstone. It's like you're going to have your keep. Somebody can't siege your keep and blow it up at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's going to be a certain windows that you have to kind of acknowledge to protect. So it's kind of more fair that way.
What would you feel about like challenging a specific guild? I know that Ren posted something a long time ago. A long time is like a couple weeks right now in Crowfall realm, but a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, about being able to challenge other guilds within your EK. So your EK, your guild challenges another guild EK, and the winner kind of gets some sort of buff out of it or something like that. And it's non-permanent damage to your EK, but it's temporary. You do lose something, and then it comes back. It would regenerate. So some sort of like tournament campaign system.
Maybe. I mean, I think the only thing is you're getting to the whole EK thing again.
Right.
And why we shouldn't even talk about the EK
That's
stuff.
that's a what if too.
It's like we're allowed one if a show, and if that's what you want your one if to be, we could do it.
No. What if is the what if should really be what Gon's talking about. The Iron Throne. They've talked about Game of Thrones. One guild to rule them all.
That's not the
Backstabbing,
campaigns, man.
alliances. No. But I mean, we're talking persistent. Something that says, hey, these people have played the game to its potential and dominated. They are they are the winners. They are the kings. They rule.
I think that's a lot of like wishy-washy stuff that people are really kind of hopes and dreams of, like it'd be cool to have the Iron Throne, it'd be cool this, but in reality, oh, you lost that campaign or whatever. There has to be has to be in the campaign, because once you leave a campaign, you might not see that guild ever again. And so, what difference does it make? I think the Iron Throne really, if there's going to be one, has to come from like the tournaments where you have like it's got to be like the Super Bowl. There's like only 2 guilds are going at it head to head, and Artcraft goes and puts it on their front page, and here's our winners for 2015 type of thing. That's where you get your Iron Throne. You only get one per year, kind of just like the World Championship in like League type of thing. It can't be like a bunch of people winning a bunch of campaigns and they all get like King of the Hill type of thing.
Right. So I think someone asked earlier during the show, and I couldn't bring this up. I didn't have enough nerve to bring it up. But they talked about the Minotaur. Are they going to be able to rip off people's heads like they have in the picture? I felt awkward even asking that.
And for
How do you guys feel about that? Like in the Age of Conan, where they had the finishing moves, where you would actually get locked into an animation, and it was just, it kind of broke a little bit of the PvP elements, but it was so cool to watch your guy just like do their finishing move and just thrust their sword straight into the guy's chest as he like crying on the ground.
We go further back and we talk about original Mortal Kombat.
Oh, there you. Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Well, I don't know how much we can put that into an MMO, but
yeah, right. Well, I think the thing with, I think we're getting a lot of people that don't know too much about Crowfall, and I think it might be a good service to show them, to maybe kind of go over some of the basics and hopefully get them on the Kickstarter and get the game going even strong in the last couple hours. for those that don't know, I think we should start off that there's this is basically my first take when I first heard about it. It's a combination between an MMO and a MOBA. And a lot of people, and I know Todd was confused, like, where's all this coming from? But I think it was kind of prevalent before we got a lot of details that people thought it was kind of MOBA-like. Did you guys get that sense when you first read about it? Or maybe like hints about it in your brain?
I did. I mean, I honestly, I did. You know, I have played MOBAs, but I've never been on the level that, you know, like Lake, you know, he's been up there on the, you know,
the top 1%.
Yeah,
he's the Mitt Romney of MOBAs.
You know, I've never really been on that level. I enjoyed him, but, you know, when they said it and it started out and those rumors started flying about it being MOBA-like, I almost bought into it, but, you know, they really did a good job of explaining how it's not going to be.
Yeah, you know, I think it's basically it's an MMO. Everybody thinks of MMO. It just lasts forever. You pick a server and you just play your character. I mean, if you don't know what a campaign is, basically what a campaign is it's a 1, 3, 6, 8-month game that you haven't decided how long they're going to be, and they're all going to be different lengths depending on which one you choose. And you're going to have an MMO. You're going to have the initial rush phase, which I think is an awesome mechanic. I always love the first couple days of an MMO, all the freshness, all the newness, the exploring, the all fresh new faces, all kind of, you know, elbowing around, marking off their territory, and then you're going to have the length of the fight. It's not going to be a short-term thing like GW2 or ESO where it's like a week long or 2 weeks long, and if you lose in the first couple of weeks, you'll just ignore it and go away. You're locked into that campaign, so you got to stick there unless you're going to buy your way out like Lakes wants to. But
whoa. So I actually liked the feature when they talked about it, right?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
The pay-to-lose feature, it's one of those things like, all right, Uncle Bob's in there, and they've just destroyed this campaign, and I don't expect this to happen in any campaign that I'm going to try really hard in. However, for the unfortunate people that maybe are going in by themselves and they have that third character and they're like, hey, I'm going to go test the waters in this campaign, and they go in and they're like, wow, somebody's dominating this map, paying a little bit to get out, whether it be a little bit of resources or something. It's a little bit of a sink. You know, you're going to sink a little bit of your resources, maybe even money into it, but at the same time, because you're locked into that campaign till it's over, it's a way to get out of it with some sort of, you know, compensation.
Right. I mean, that's another aspect of that's the surrender feature in your MOBA, because you're in a finite game. You know, a MOBA lasts 20 to 60 minutes, and then it's over, and you play another one. This one it lasts 3 months. I think the average is everybody's been going over about 3 months or so. So it's 3 months long, and you know It's long enough where you need to stick around and get into it, and there's time to turn around the fight type of thing, but it's not short enough where you don't care, and you know you can play by the weekend, you can start a whole new game up and go again. So you got that revolving aspect of it in a lot of iterating on the game, and that really helps the balance of things. And then the other aspects of the archetypes, and they keep adding, and you have a whole bunch of them, and then that's where the MMO types kind of comes in there with the min-max theory crafting type of stuff with all the different stats that you heard about them discussing in the interview. So it's really an MMO that lasts for 3 months, and then you play
Well, and what's funny is that, you know, so many games fold, or, you know, they're obviously trending into downward spiral by 3 months. You know, 90 days. You know, LOTD on our end, we always plan for a 90-day review of any game we go into because we expect to have such a serious issue at the 90-day mark that we have to decide, you know, well, do we stay or do we go? You know, and so, you know, transferring into this, though, is, you know, people are wanting to know, can you leave a campaign? And yes, you can. They have not explained exactly how, but
there's probably going to be a box where you say, leave campaign, are you sure? Yes, and then you lose everything that you do, and you just waste the last 2 months of your time.
You don't get anything out of it. So
other than your passive skill training, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get the passive skill training, or even the active skill training. Your character's progression doesn't go away. It's just, you know, any of the resources that you brought in with you, you just donated to that campaign. And
then I just see in chat, Myth Syria was talking about, like, you know, everybody's leaving, and then it's going to be a shitty campaign. But I think Valor hit on that during the show, and they kind of addressed it. There's going to be ways to end a campaign early by, let's say you have objectives A, B, and C, and you got it during the summer campaign, and everybody's gone. The world blows up and you win, and then you kind of move on. So I think they're really well aware of, you know, campaigns that empty out really early because of this, because it happens on servers all the time in MMOs. I mean, I think if you take if the devs are smart, and I think they are, I think if you take all the lessons learned from dying servers, battlegrounds, and all that other stuff that were launched that were just terrible, like the one in what was it, Ilum in SWTOR, that was like the max level PvP zone, like Alterac Valley. I forget what the name of it is, and it was supposed to be this big glorious thing with walkers, and everybody just exchanged bases back and forth to get points, and that was it. It was just like the dumbest thing in the world because it didn't work. And I think if you take all those lessons, you can really iterate those campaigns and make them fun. And maybe the first couple months are always going to be deserted campaigns, but hopefully the next ones aren't as bad.
Yeah, Gon brought up the question. Is what happens if are these objectives going to be doable in a day? No, I'm going to guess it's going to be stuff like you're going to have to build, you're going to have to defend, Bloodstone, you have to build a castle, you're going to have to acquire certain things that
I think there's like
simply
wealth
just
accumulation,
take too much time,
and territory accumulation. I think I wouldn't be surprised if, because he uses civilization in a lot of his stuff, like, you have I wouldn't be surprised if a map started showing up borders. I don't know how you do that in the free-for-all aspect of things, and the dregs where there's really no sides, it's just whoever does whatever. But there's got to be some aspects of creating teams, or teams of guilds, teams of players, whatever you want to do. And it's got to slowly accumulate, because you're playing a 3-month campaign. You got to have something to build towards to win. So I think there's definitely going to be something there. What it is, who the heck knows? I don't think they know either. Maybe those post-it notes have all the answers on them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going through all of the Twitter notifications that we got right now, and somebody actually they captured, I'm guessing on their phone, a 30-second clip of Thomas explaining character powers. Pretty entertaining that we got. That's cool. That's cool.
Retweet that out. Let me see it.
That was one of those things that I was excited about, because I was diving into it and he was giving a little bit, and it was awesome because, like I said, you got to see a lot of the combat, and they're talking about combination skills, and that was actually a question that we were talking about not too long ago, was how are they going to have interactive skills where if you cast this skill and then you use something else, is it going to have a combo effect to it? And I think they stated that they were going to do stuff like that, so that's really cool. It's going to make a dynamic PvP environment.
I hope so. I like that combat thing. Valor was trying to push me away off that topic, but I thought that was really good.
I had like 101 questions that I couldn't even get to yet.
Yeah, it was just like, oh man, Dragon, you're just over there kneeling down in front of Terra.
Terra is the best combat system on the internet. There's 2 combat systems you have to really pay attention to on MMOs. It's World of Warcraft has the best standard Deku combat system. Their animations, their fluidity, and all their effects are top notch. And there's Terra. So if both ends of the spectrums, those are the 2 best combat systems, I think, on the internet. Guild Wars 2 is pretty good, but with their class system and their weapon swapping, their abilities, it kind of takes away from it, I think. What am I looking at in this thing that you tweeted out? Is it just a guy just demoed it? And that's it? Okay, I thought he had a screenshot. See, this pisses me off. I messed up our overlay where I didn't have our background playing because I forgot to hit loop on this scene.
While we played the music for the first minute of the podcast.
I'm so angry with myself.
So I'm actually, what I honestly liked is they gave us a little bit of the statistical breakdown of some of the armor stats and combat stats and how you come about them too, and the customization of being able to build the way you want to. I think that's one of the key things in MMOs in general, is being able to build that specific piece of armor to fit your playstyle. And some MMOs, they just don't do that. It's set with base stats, and
WildStar did, but then they took it out.
And that's one of the things, like a lot of people really enjoy that style of crafting or customization. Not only do you get to customize your character and the progression path of leveling your skills and your disciplines and all that kind of stuff, and what I mean by characters, archetypes, but you also have these combat stats that you're able to adjust with what you put in them. So I think that's a really cool dynamic to this game, and it's going to add to a lot of different optimization. And we talked about, I think it was yesterday, about how you're going to have so many different play styles and so many different crafting recipes that everything's not going to be openly available to everybody. You're going to have to kind of go out there and maybe figure it out a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of hidden things, and I think for all of you out there that never saw it, go Google or YouTube, search Rerolled Crowfall interview, and I had a really good hour-long interview with Todd about 30 days ago, at the very beginning of the Kickstarter, and he was bringing up he loves emergent gameplay, and he talked about the nerf and buffing cycle of all classes and skills and that type of thing, and I think he realizes it's great to have OP shit in the game. He loves people running around. As long as it's not broken and you can one-shot 30 people at once, he loves the emergent style of, that old school stuff, because once you start nerfing and buffing, everything becomes sterile. So I think there's going to be a lot of hidden stuff that devs have never seen before, because you hit a certain threshold of move speed or animation speed or some kind of stat they're going to throw out there, and all of a sudden your character is going to be able to attack 3 times in a second. And you're like, oh shit, you can do that? I didn't realize that. And then there's your flavor of the month build. But I think that's a cool part of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just real quick, we keep on talking about a bunch of stuff on Twitch and Hitbox. I think, Valor, you had a couple questions coming from our Hitbox guys?
Yeah, one of the guys asked, you just want to know, is it hack and slash combat system or not button mashing? It's not going to be button mashing is what I intended to say there. What we expect is it's going to be it's not going to be overwhelming with 6 different skill bars and all these different things. They've said a lot of times Terra. They've said
Amateur Killer put it in
the smoothness of Wildstar.
Amateur Killer put on, is it going to be like Neverwinter? And it's going to be like Neverwinter, at least as far as the way the controls are, because that's the closest game to Terra, I think. The difference is Terra has an ability. They have a UI aspect of the game where there's a UI screen, and it's going to have all your skills down on the left-hand side, and then there's an arrow pointing over to a slot that you can click and drag another skill into. And if you hit this skill with your left mouse button, the number 1 or whatever, it opens up this skill tree, so you can hit spacebar and that skill activates. And then you could go down to where that skill is on the bar and put another skill. So you can create a 4-skill combo that act, and all you have to do is you activate it by hitting the number 1, your left mouse button or whatever, and just keep hitting spacebar, and you go through the progression. So you don't need 1,000 keys, but you can also have a ton of skills by working out your combo progression. So I
think what also
makes sense.
I think what also breaks up the button mashing is the intricate detail and the micro of the mechanics they put in place. They've already said that they're going to bring up cancel casting. So that's going to automatically take away from that button mashing. Because if you're button mashing and someone's really good, they're going to bait out a lot of your skills. And they're going to be able to cancel cast you to death. And you're going to lose that fight if you're just sitting there button mashing. So it's going to be a really strategic play style. Not only that, but now you have crosshair. And now you have to aim your skills. And or lob them, right? Because they have the physics in place. Or if you're that big tanky person, you see your guy about to get hit by this huge fireball going his way, you jump in front of it, you block it. There's a lot of different mechanics in place.
You can do that in a lot of games, actually. I know Guild Wars 2, you can jump in front of fireballs because they weren't specifically targeted, and I think that's really important. I don't think any other game, any major MMOs, actually had physics-based projectiles in it. I know a lot of FPS games have that stuff, but no large-scale MMOs, or any MMOs, I think, don't have any physics with their projectiles.
I'm also happy about the non-tab targeting system.
I mean, I hate that. It's
right.
If you're playing a PvP game, it's got to be about aiming. It's got to. I mean, even if you have a giant hitbox and there's a little bit of error correction on it because of ping and stuff like that, it's still you need to have some kind of aiming rather than bunny hopping, running in circles, and hitting 1 5 5 3 5 3 5 1. There's my rotation, and you're dead. It's stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really cool. Also, one of the things that you find with a lot of tab targeting is you hide behind something, but that projectile just happened to find its way around there and hit you right in the face and kill you. So they're going to have that physics base. You're going to have to lob. They talked about being able to kind of be in that front line, so you're going to have to be able to use your skills properly on top of having friendly fire. Like, it's going to be a dynamic play style. I know that they talked about it when they first released the information about friendly fire, and they talked about it not being a friendly fire in every kind of campaign, but in those harder ones, it's going to be very much a thing within the game. So I think that's a cool concept.
You got to go with the harder campaigns that go home. You got to have the friendly fire. That's where all the competition's really going to be. I mean, the biggest aspect that I took away from some of that combat stuff is, other than being super excited they're going towards the Terra aspect of things, is the identify the importance of having cool moves and seeing that and visually recognizing those moves, especially when I brought up League of Legends, where characters are about to do a move, you know it's going to happen, and you recognize it when it happens. So when you're watching, you're like, oh, he just did the move. Oh, that's awesome. Here it comes, and you kind of can't wait for it to happen because you know these things are possible. Rather than when you play World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2, they're just spamming abilities. You have no idea what's happening on your screen because things are just happening and it's whatever. The slower combat is, as far as how many abilities you can output per second or per couple seconds, the better it's going to be, because then you can counterplay, you can read and react, and you can also watch and respect players' skills. I mean, if you're watching like WoW Arena, you're going to respect that they had some kind of team synergy and then they won. But you're not going to really respect how they stunned right there and did this, that, and the other. You just expect them to, stuff happens and whatever. Like, just like in League of Legends, when you're watching Birgitson in his mid lane playing LeBlanc and he just fucking does some nasty ass shit and kills a bunch of people, you're like,
Right.
that dude is dope. And I can't wait. I can't do that, and I'm not going to be able to do any of that stuff in Crowfall. But I can't wait till we get some 16-year-old streamer that can, has 1,000 actions per second and pulls off some nasty shit. I want to see that shit on Twitch or
Right.
Hitbox, and I want to watch that.
I think one of the cool things, like we talked about it, and I really want to know if they're going to have an observer mode or some kind of spectator feature. And if they do, then the game has to be very easy to watch. I think one of the bad parts about Guild Wars 2 and its whole arena-based system is if you haven't played Guild Wars 2, then you don't know what's going on. But if you maybe watched some Counter-Strike games or some League of Legends games, you may not know exactly what each one of those characters in League of Legends does, but everything's very fluid. You've seen that coming, and it doesn't look like a cluster of a bunch of things going on. So if the animations are good and it flows well together, then you're going to be able to see the small stuff. Like you said, wow, that stun was perfect, or he knocked him down when he was about to get off this big spell. Like, that kind of stuff is very good, and that will coincide with having that spectator mode.
Physics really helps with that too, only because it spaces characters out and you actually see them doing it, versus MMOs where everybody's piled up into a single spot and it's just a blur of nothingness, and you can't really detect what the hell's happening because it's over too quickly or characters are animating over each other and it's just nothing. So I think the physics is definitely going to help, and I think you're going to see a lot of emergent behavior with mobs because of physics. Trying to, like Todd mentioned, we need the swarm mechanic. Oh shit, it does it already. All right, well, we just saved some man hours there. Let's rock and roll. So I think that was I thought that was a really cool comment. So I think there's a lot of things. That's the best part about kind of creating these procedural worlds, because if the folks didn't know, every single map, every single campaign map is going to be absolutely different from the start. They're using Voxel Farm and a couple different other tools in Unity 5 that allow them to automatically create maps, and what they're going to do is they're going to create algorithms to place points of interest, the mines, the towers, the keeps, and all ruins, and all the other stuff that you find and delve into. And so every game is going to be different, and you're going to be able to, feel that newness for every single map. So, I mean, everything's being built in for them to make a very interesting game in a game quickly. I think that's why they're launching next year in December.
What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about? Somebody brought up range combat, and sliders for high damage, low damage, finite ammo, infinite ammo. One of the things that I really, really enjoyed about Darkfall, and honestly, I don't know what other games have done this. I haven't particularly seen it a lot. But, when you shot an arrow, there was an arc to it. And the higher you aimed, the further it went. And obviously, the more difficult...
Darkfall had it. I knew I forgot that game with projectiles. Okay, yep, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, and that was one that I really liked. And the further you were away, they actually had this, that the longer the arrow traveled, the higher the damage was to a certain point. So yes, the more complicated and difficult the shot was. I really like that. I think they have the tools in place to make that a reality in the game, but I don't know that they've...
it probably works with about 5 people. It's really going to depend on how good their network code and their network engineers can pull everything off. I think that's a big aspect. It's going to be very important.
Yeah. Another thing that I didn't get to talk to them about is Crowfall is made for Uncle Bob. People, if you haven't seen, the Uncle Bob analogy, it is all about Uncle Bob is the guy in your family. Your family goes over. You start a game of Risk. He ends up taking the game over. He's controlling everything, but the game just cannot end. There's just no win condition, and so he owns everything. Nobody else wants to play, and that's what they're trying to avoid with Crowfall. What they're doing is they're designing a game for Uncle Bob. They're not saying Uncle Bob's evil, which has been a big misconception in the community so far. What they're saying is, hey, this is going to happen. Someone's going to win. It's just the nature of things. And when they do, great, congratulations. You give them a big pat on the back, something to take home and show their wives or husbands, and then you start over. And voila, they go right back to it. Somebody can come up with a new strategy to beat them, or they can keep dominating if they have the wherewithal to do so. Unless you guys disagree.
No, I mean, I agree. Just like I'm trying to like comprehend everything that's going on, and like there's this Twitter thing going on between you and Todd, and they're talking about what was it? You talked about analogies and something about bears and
So I was like, I told Todd on Twitter, I was like, hey Todd, you had said thanks for coming, and I said having you guys on, it was like bears eating somebody else's picnic. All right, we were just pleased to have you. His response was, change picnic to face and you're in business.
So when they were talking about, actually it was when Dragon was talking about the killing stuff in Terra and how you have to kill so many little rats and stuff like that. All I could think about was our podcast yesterday, and
that
how
wasn't part of our podcast. That was the outtakes.
Aftershow.
Come on.
Did we ever get that up? Did we get that up, guys?
The outtakes? No, I haven't touched that yet.
Slacker.
Busy, bro. Got life.
For the guys that are watching right now that have never seen us before, I mean, that's probably a good chance since this is our third show. So, or at least the third show for us together, sixth show for
third show for you.
Whatever, brother.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But we usually have an official show with a rundown and a thing. This is kind of a space to kind of just shoot the shit and talk with you guys out there. So this is very informal, and it's meant to be. But tune in typically every Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern, the only time zone that's actually necessary in life, for watch our actual official show. And usually we stick around for 20 minutes to, I think last night what were we on for, an extra hour or something like that?
Yeah, we put in an extra hours worth of time. That's why I was telling Lake we have to get that up, because
good stuff.
I mean, if we're sitting here talking, we might as well let people know.
Yeah. But no, as long as there's the viewer numbers still up there, we'll still keep talking and taking your questions, and maybe one of your questions is going to spark another hour's worth of talk.
Well, Blackjack just said he's probably going to end up on gold, and I think that the two Kickstarter tiers that have the most return on investment are Amber and Sapphire. Am I right?
Yes.
Because you get alpha access, but also I believe it's the VIP time. Isn't that in there as well? I think that's kind
VIP
of one of those.
Like 5 years. Amber's like a year or
2 or
something
3
like that.
or something like that.
I got the Kickstarter browser up here. Let's see.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Amber is 5 years of VIP.
And that's insane. Just the cost value of it, because I think they're going to bring it down from like 5 years to, what was it, 6 months after the Kickstarter?
Yeah.
So it's like
that.
It's a significant decrease. So getting it now before it ends.
Amber and Sapphire are the same thing.
So that's perfect, right?
Yep.
It's 6 years of VIP status, but if you buy it afterwards, you're only getting 6 months, but you're paying the same price. Like, get on it now before you miss out.
Gold is access to Alpha 2. Sapphire is where you get the first Alpha 1 access, which I think that's the point I bought into, because when you get in the game streaming, and I just found out that they're probably not going to be streaming 24, or game's not going to be up for 24/7. It's going to be very limited testing at that stage. So I definitely want to get in there so I can see if I wasted my money or not, and I don't think I did. But I think it's if you got money to spare and you've got a gaming budget, Sapphire, if you can sneak in there, because I know if you guys didn't know, there's a Crowfall IRC channel going on, and he had a Crowfall bot or a Kickstarter bot going in there.
Those things still go? Are they still IRC?
I'm staring at it right now. The bot's not working. Hey, IRCs are like the shit. You don't even know about it. But there's about 50 or 60 people
I feel like
in it
those
right
are
now,
like
actually.
they're like online BDSM dungeons.
Yeah.
It's like I mean,
Dude, it's the underground.
really?
That's where the real stuff
the
goes
underground.
down. Come on,
This
now.
is the hipsters. There we go.
But they had a bot that was tied right in from KS. So as soon as somebody dropped a Sapphire account, like the bot picked it up. Like they had a script saying where those numbers popped in and out. So there was literally milliseconds between somebody clicking drop account or like when they switched from like gold to Sapphire, the gold would pop up. And people were buying Sapphire all the time. So if you can get in there and you can, and if you really want to get Sapphire, I know they're all sold out.
I know somebody who's actually thinking about dropping their Sapphire.
Watch it, right? Because the early bird might pop up with one. So I have a question. One of the things is name your location for the Sapphire. So for all the Sapphire people out there, if you could name one location, what would it be?
Rat Dick Mines. I don't think they're going to put that in though.
Oh man.
Now there's currently right now 519 Sapphire backers with the early bird and the whatchamacallit. I think all does. So yeah, you can name stuff. I don't know if they're actually going to do that because they have that little caveat saying pending approval. So they might just say nope, everybody else sucks. We're not doing any of it. But who knows?
One guy said Gotham. He's going to name his area Gotham.
Yep. Trademark violation.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Well, that was the big thing with like City of Villains, City of Heroes, which if anyone ever asks, one of the most underrated PvP games ever.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The combat system, the movement system, everything about it, way ahead of its time. And sadly, they just never focused on PvP. Typical downfall of most games, and so it just kind of petered off. But I totally lost my train of thought.
PvP, City of Heroes.
Yeah, PvP, City of Heroes.
Stops. You've got I've got 3 monitors up right now.
I've got 2.
Did you see the screenshot I put into our workspace?
I did. I actually got another one as well. I don't know.
It's the same thing. I reformatted it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I've got so much information up here now that I'm kind of relaxing and drinking a beer.
I pulled out 2. I didn't even get through 1. My cat keeps harassing me.
Yeah, I need to get another one in a second. But here, I'm gonna go grab another drink. But I'll leave this for you guys to discuss in the 30 seconds that I'm gonna be going.
Don't mute your mic because it makes a buzz roll out, or mute it through Skype.
I'm gonna mute. I forgot to do that. Yeah, sorry about that. But
apologize to our viewers.
Don't
apologize
sorry,
to us.
viewers. Jeez, I don't really care about the viewers. They can take it. We have access.
No, it's okay. It's not a big deal.
No,
they're creeping my wife anyway. So
that's weird. Don't creep dudes' wives. That's not right. But let's talk about. I love the fact that, and I had no idea, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, that Thomas worked on DCUO and had all that combat stuff, because I really love the combat in that game. That shit was fluid and awesome. The rest of the game was kind of broken, because I don't think chat even worked in that game, but the combat was solid. So did you guys ever play DCUO?
Briefly back when it was in its pre-launch state.
Lakes, did you actually ever download that and play it?
No.
Fuck. Okay, so I got to pick up another topic to discuss. But there's got to be a question out there for you guys.
I played it. I played it just enough to know it wasn't ready to be played.
No, but the combat was solid though. The animations
the combat
awesome.
actually was pretty solid. Everything else.
If he can replicate DCUO and add physics, I think this game is going to be a smash.
Yeah,
I think.
Quality combat mechanics, stable gameplay. Avoid hacks and cheats, and create a meaning for the PvP, and bam, you've got yourself a game that people will play for years.
Right. I think I was optimistic. I've always been cautiously optimistic going into this game, but I feel like after talking with Thomas, right, his ideas about some of the gameplay and combat mechanics, he's like, if you could duplicate me and make them better looking, that'd be Thomas, right? Like, it seems like he has some of the same ideas that some of the hardcore PvP players want, and he has the background to make it happen. So from going from cautiously optimistic to realizing that these developers, I mean, they've listened to the community, they know what people want, and they've come up with things that people don't know about yet. And I think that's a really cool concept.
Yeah. I think I just saw Elving there. Said 17,000, 18,000 backers seems so far away. I agree. I think that I found it interesting when they have their Kickstarter ending. I'd thought that they'd have it ending a little bit later in the morning, just so that it gives people some time to, wake up, look at the news, realize, hey, this is ending. I better go ahead.
No,
and
they're
throw
going to
down
do it
some more
now,
money.
and it's going to be, you want to end it like in the middle of the night so people are groggy and don't realize they're spending that much money on their pledge.
Gotcha.
That's where you got to go. I think anyway.
Yeah.
So we're at 16,297. It's tough. I don't think they're going to hit 17K unless there's a rush.
9 hours.
9 hours. I don't know. I mean, they've definitely seen a. What's
It's 8 o'clock
what
on
is
the
it?
West Coast, so you got a couple more hours there.
Kick track with the Q.
EU time frame, right? So it's 5
Is that
a.m.
counting, or is the EU counting into the Kickstarter?
Yeah. Anyone
Don't they have their
who
own
gives them
thing
money.
going?
No.
No,
So
they've got PayPal, but I'm pretty sure that's still. Well, no, I guess that wouldn't be going into the Kickstarter, would it?
No.
Some
Let's
people
take a look.
use
All
a
right.
credit card, right? But so it's 5 a.m. There's still plenty of time for the EU crowd to come up on their hot, that hot time where people can kind of dive into it. It's the tail end. They could hit
You need 700 people.
1.7.
They need 700 people. The average donation is about $100. So if they hit 700 people, that's what's I can't do math right now. 100 times 70, right?
Or we just
700?
have a lot of people buy the
700?
$34 pack and we call it a
70
day.
grand. Yeah, 70 grand. See, if they hit $17,000, they'll definitely hit 1.7.
17,000 backers.
Yeah, so 700 people. Everybody go out there. Go donate $100.
And then also, people can bump up their levels as well. I mean,
We've been doing that all day.
yeah. Well, and as people do that, you can pick up some of the early birds. I know that's a big deal as well. Let's see. What are they projecting at? They are projecting at just shy of 1.7 million. They're projecting at 1.691. So, that'll probably slow down a little bit, and maybe they'll get a nice big push right there at the end.
Maybe we'll see.
But they,
So.
I think they did their math wrong
What do you mean?
on what time it ends.
Let's see. It is 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. Ends in 9 hours or so 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think they had that wrong. I think they were saying 7.
Because everybody's using Central Time, Eastern Time, and like
That's
all
true,
the
that's
different
true.
podcasts are on. You got to go by.
I think we should
standard
go
timing.
off of Crowfall time, which would be Central because they're here in Texas.
Now, if we're doing shows, you got to go East Coast time. It's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central. That's how everything happens.
Or Hawaii
Oh.
time.
Hawaii. You don't even have TV in Hawaii, so
I have a computer behind me, and I'm using one. I think I have a TV.
you don't get cable. You still have 3 channels.
This is actually like a tiki hut. It's a nice one. I had to upgrade actually earlier this year.
What's that?
Oh, I said I live in a tiki hut, and
Oh,
I had to
yeah.
upgrade earlier this year.
It's nice. I see you finally got a stove, which is nice. No more fire pit.
All right, let's see. Do we got any other questions pertaining to the game, guys?
I think everybody's kind of just hanging out at this point
Yeah.
and making fun of us and taking shots at Lake's wife, I guess.
Dragon, we've got. Honest to God, I don't know how to pronounce this. Teljair.
Yes.
Teljair.
That's my business partner.
Well, hopefully you don't mind missing $10,000.
Oh, I don't even know what he's referencing.
Yeah, he just said he backed for 10 grand.
Who is
He
this?
doesn't have $10,000.
$10,000.
Over on Hitbox.
Oh, Hitbox. Oh yeah, I texted him to get on there real quick and check it out.
He's either so this is what you get to deal with, all right? He's either spending company money
No.
on a video game, or he's lying to his business partner. All right,
No,
fight.
Oh, that's fine.
Who would win? Who would win?
That's a good question.
He is like 7 feet tall, but he's also a ginger, so I don't know if those counteract each other.
Well, he's gonna steal your soul, and then he's gonna do something else.
Wait, you got wait. You got
Oh, sorry,
something against
Valor. Sorry,
gingers?
Valor.
Well, hold up. Look, I might have brown hair, but well, my beard. Well, there you go.
I have a reddish beard also, so.
Yeah, but Evil Mod, Elvin tried to share a link. I'm not sure what it was though.
We need to get a Twitch bot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, all you guys that are out there, I mean, every single show we're getting more and more people out there. Hopefully, you show up every single Tuesday. You favorite us, you follow us, and then hopefully we can maybe get some subs going and rock and roll with all the views and get some. I know you can do like special emotes and all some other crazy stuff you can do while on the show. So I think we'll definitely delve into that. We'll see how popular the show gets as the weeks go on. But
You better put my Twitch stream up there on that link that who just linked that? Elvin?
Elvin, Elvin Mod. She's a mod over on the Crowfall forums and has put together a ton of really, really useful threads. So make sure that you follow some of that stuff.
Alpha Beta Stream Directory. Oh, she has Hitbox and Twitch on there.
No, well done.
There we go.
Contribute content.
He. Valor, it's he. Jerk.
Okay. He works. It's you know what? That's what you get for having a female character as your avatar. I'm just saying. It's okay. My first MMO avatars were all female. It's what do you want to look at for hours on end. Okay, moving on.
Well, for stream stuff, like I'm planning to do. I'm going to be streaming Alpha 1 on my Dragon 101 channel. I don't have it up and running. I mean, it's set up, but what I think we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking turns hosting. Crowns and Crows are going to be hosting either one of our stream sites. I think we'll take turns on that. So we'll be playing individually on our own streams, and we'll be promoting those as Alpha gets closer. So you'll see all those details later on. I think right now it's kind of silly, but Crowns and Crows will be hosting those other channels. So if you tune into us, you'll see either one of us or all three of us streaming the game. I don't know, Valor, if you were Valor, do you plan on streaming Alpha also?
I want to. It's something that I started getting into in Arcade, and sadly, there's just nothing worth showing in Arcade. It's just like and the one video that I did was fantastic. I just simply completely cut out everything, and it was just a bunch of different music, and sure enough, that got all killed because of copyright infringement. So it's like, well, don't use that music, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's tough. There's rules.
There are rules schmools. We had that one question. What was it?
I don't know. You tell me.
You're the one that.
Will there be a way for players to contribute content in any way? Now, I'm not really sure what direction to take that. But
maybe like their own streams and stuff like that. Is there going to be a place for them to put their content out there? And there is. There's stuff that's kind of unannounced through several different people, and there's going to be a lot of community stuff that's going to be involved. So
hopefully
just stay tuned.
By our show next week, I'll have an announcement with some kind of community developing space that we could talk about helping everybody promote their streams and get their names out there. So next week. And is Telger still listening to the stream?
Yeah, he's talking.
Get your ass into gear. That's what I'm just saying.
So let's see. We got contributing content. I mean, they might have been talking like in game. I'm not really sure. Or
game.
Yeah, it's like Arcade. You could put in music and do some weird stuff like that.
I don't know. I thought they wanted some community building, like fan site, website type stuff. I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. There's a lot under development. So
there's a lot for sure.
People you can try doing your own and competing. You can try syncing up with some folks already working on stuff. Do it that way.
No doubt.
Guys,
we've been streaming for 2 hours now.
We've been streaming for 2 hours. I'm hungry. I'm about to crack open my second beer. And I do not condone drinking, especially for anyone who's underage.
Careful, big guy.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, here, let's sound it out. Guys, if you're listening on Twitch, you're listening or watching on Twitch or Hitbox, make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow us up on Crowns and Crows. We'll be tweeting out our individual Twitter handles throughout the week, so you can always click on our names and follow us. I promise Lakes or Valor is finally going to clean up the underneath the stream information. I'll do some graphics. Lake should have tonight's interview up on YouTube by morning time Eastern. Usually he does a pretty good job with that, or always has done a good job with that. So I think we can sign off here. And every Tuesday, 8:30, the show's on. Come watch us. Come join us. Eastern time. Yes, the only time. And we'll leave it at that. Have a great night, guys.
All right, guys. Take care.
See you guys.
It was fun.